Hi everybody, Dr. Bill Crawford here, psychologist, speaker, author of 4 books, host of 2 PBS specials. Here today to bring you another tip on how to help you create the life you want. How to bring more clarity, confidence, creativity into everything you do. Today I want to talk about a concept called the sponsoring thought. It has to do with the thought behind the thought. And I know people who come to my seminars, read my books, work with me as a psychologist, they're always wanting to know, okay, why do I find myself doing this, Find myself thinking this or doing this or feeling this? Why? It doesn't make any sense. And I think we can begin to look at the sponsoring thought. What was the thought that triggered that? We can begin to understand why we find ourselves reacting in certain ways and, more importantly, how we can be more influential in whether we want to go forward with this or change that. One sponsoring thought that a lot of people have is, I'm not good enough. And this will have us doing things and saying things and trying to impress people or trying to get validated based on what other people think, based on this fear, this sponsoring thought that I'm not enough in some ways. Now, we're not thinking that on purpose. We haven't decided that's a good idea. We wouldn't teach that to someone we love, so it's not a conscious thought. The sponsoring thought is almost always unconscious. But if we can bring it to consciousness, we can ask ourselves, okay, what's the sponsoring thought here? We can begin to evaluate whether or not we want to change that. So yeah, there's some things that I could be better at, and I've got certain qualities and characteristics that I bring to a situation, to a relationship, to a job that benefit everyone there. I can feel proud of those. I can feel good about those. That's not being cocky, that's just being confident. Another thought that a lot of people have when they are dealing with this some situation is, I'm only valuable when I'm doing something for someone else. Only valuable when I'm needed. I'm not valuable for who I am, just intrinsically. I have to be doing something for someone before I can feel valued. See, again, we haven't chosen that. We haven't thought that was a good idea. We wouldn't teach that to someone we love, and yet it can have us engaging people, interacting in relationships in ways that are incongruent with who we really are, incongruent with the quality of the relationship we want to create. It's that sponsoring thought that is really the problem. And if we just keep trying to change the behavior or what we do after the sponsoring thought, that's good. It's certainly better than not trying to change it. However, if that sponsoring thought is still left running in our mind, informing how we think about ourselves and the world, then we will keep finding ourselves feeling and thinking things that we wouldn't recommend to someone we love. So I would encourage you to look at the times when you find yourself being a way that's incongruent with who you are at your best. Now, one of the things that, for those of you who follow my Life from the Top of the Mind philosophy know, this sponsoring thought almost always comes from this limbic system brainstem part of us, this unconscious, sometimes fear-based part of us. And we want to make sure that we're not carrying over sponsoring thoughts we learned in childhood. Now, creating new sponsoring thoughts, that's kind of a good idea. The ability to be valued for who I am, not just what I do. The ability to see myself as proud of the qualities and characteristics I bring to a situation, that can become a sponsoring thought. And then the behavior and the feelings and the ways of being that flow from that are things we probably would want to feed and would want to recommend to someone we love. So we want to begin to become aware of the thought beneath the thought, that sponsoring thought, so we can begin to understand what is truly causing how we think and how we feel. Begin to shift that if indeed thinking and feeling differently is what we're wanting. Hope you're finding these videos valuable. I'm enjoying bringing them to you. If you do, please hit the like button. Google, YouTube, Pinterest, all those folks, Facebook, love it when someone recommends it to someone else. So hit the like button, share it with your friends if you would. If you have questions, feel free to post them down below or comments. I always read all your comments and your questions. And my hope is you're finding these videos and these concepts to be valuable. If so, if you want me to come and do a presentation for your organization about this clarity, confidence, creativity, coming from the top of the mind, dealing with stress, difficult people, customer service, feedback skills for supervisors, Go to my website, billcrawfordphd.com. Hit the contact button. Let me know what you're interested in, and I'd love to talk with you about that. In the meantime, here's to you becoming more clear about that sponsoring thought so that you can bring your confidence and your creativity into everything you do. And I'll look forward to seeing you in the next video.